this is sort of one of those obligatory guitar questions, but I think the answer is sort of interesting. Like, you've used for the last 20 years, you've just used Ernie Ball strings,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, what gauge do you use?
I use a custom gauge 11 to 46.
I mean, I think that that's sort of interesting because, you know, most guitar players, rockers, use 9s, 10s, you use 11s, right?
Yeah.
And so what makes a difference? Why use a heavier gauge?
You know, it's not something that I even experimented with. I used to work in a guitar store at one point and was very familiar with different gauges because of all the different guitars that we had on display and whatnot. And I'm a hard player. I hit very hard when I play. So I need something that bites back.
Right, right.
You know, I need something that feels really solid and takes some work and you know, just feels sturdy. And I've always figured the heavier the strings, the heavier it sounded. Which isn't always the case, but that's the philosophy.
Actually, you know, you do get, I think, more tone out of that hevier. Sorry for being so nerdy, everybody. This is a, this is a guitar interview, by the way. You know, one of the things that's really impressive or distinctive about your playing is, you know, how good your vibrato is, and you know how well you bend, and you know, bend beautifully and in tune and stuff. How did you? That was a big hurdle for me as a guitar player to learn how to do that. I mean, who showed you how to do that?
I'm not really sure. As far as the vibrato goes, I don't know. You know, I appreciate that you bring that up because I don't know that much about it. I just do what I sort of do.
Right.
I know there's certain kinds of vibrato that really bother me. You know, like really overly fast vibrato that throws things out of pitch and whatnot.
Yeah.
But with bending, there's just nothing more offensive than it's like race car driving, like oversteer or understeer. You know, it's like when you just barely hit a note or you go too far, it's really irritating sound. And that is something that you have to work on because when you're just playing very spontaneously, it's easy to overshoot the mark or not pull it up high enough. I remember my manager always used to say, don't forget the intonation. And that really stuck with me for years, and it still does to this day. But that is a very important, integral part to playing so that it's pleasing to the ear, is to keep it in pitch.
And why Ernie Ball strings?
Just because they're the best strings I've ever encountered, ever since I first started. Anything else that I tried, you know, there was a lot. It was GHS, there was Dean Markley, all these different kinds of strings. The only ones that really seemed consistent and that didn't break too much and that just felt that were, you know, that I could predict what they were going to do were Ernie Balls, and I just never saw any reason to try anything else.